guys, here we are, Stoomboy, the Combat Companion. So, obviously the show that's brought to you by Hard Life. So Hard Life Fightwear, one of the kind of top fight apparel apparel companies out there that offer some absolutely awesome fight gear. They do the country rash guard and shorts. So obviously Scotland, England, and Wales. I'll need to check if they've got the Ireland one, but they've got some amazing stuff on there. Doing the ranked rash guards on sale as well. So anybody looking to get some Hard Life Fightwear, the bottom of the screen, just head over to Hard Life Fightwear. Use the discount code STOOM15 and you'll obviously get a wee discount off the back of that. So my next guest today then is obviously a guy that I absolutely love. This guy, do you know what I mean? We chat back and forward, whether it be messenger or in comments and stuff like that. Always love following this guy and seeing what he's all about. 6'4", 265-pound wrecking machine. Do you know what I mean? So he's done bare knuckle, obviously MMA and so on. Currently MMA 3-1 as an MMA fighter. And I say, yeah, bare knuckle as well. Bare knuckle in my eyes is one of the purest form of combat sports. It's just two guys standing in front of each other and banging. There's nothing else about it. And I said, anybody that does that, do you know what I mean? MMA is one thing, but anybody that does bare knuckle, man, you've got to take your hat off to them because these are fucking killers, man. Every single one of them. So, but Rob's an absolute lovely guy and an amazing guy. But put him in a cage, put him in a ring, and then ring a bell. Oh man, it's over. It's over. So, but Rob Cunningham representing Primal Academy, MMA Academy, Aspinall BJJ, and obviously D Fight Club as well. So Rob, what's an absolute pleasure, brother. Thanks for taking the time to speak to me.
No, thank you very much for having me on and the nice intro there, mate. Appreciate it.
Oh, listen, I was going to go even further than that, but I thought, you know what, I'll tone it down a bit. I'll tone it down. So, how's everything with you then? So, I mean, you're very busy. I mean, we talked about Primal, Aspinall, and D Fight Club. So, I mean, you're all over the place training and getting the best training possible for every aspect of your game.
Yeah, so I like to mix it up and get about. So, I'm out of camp at the moment. I probably won't be starting another fight camp until the end of September, but I'm just ticking over with stuff. I've had 3 back-to-back camps since January this year, so it's been nice to have a little bit of downtime with family and stuff and missus and mates and chill out a bit. But I'm still ticking over in the gym a few days a week and that, but nothing too heavy just yet. Just sort of like learning as we always do and ticking over. So yeah, I've been boxing this morning. I've been up with the Aspinall team this week as well, and then been doing some strength and conditioning, like testing to start off for the next camp. So yeah, busy as long as working, mate, as well. So keeping busy.
It used to be before. I mean, it was especially the heavyweight, a big heavyweight. It was always a struggle getting training partners of a similar size. But there tends to be quite a lot of heavyweights in the game at the moment that you're able to then train with. I mean, you talk about Tom Aspinall being kind of probably one of the best in the world. So, I mean, you find it's a struggle to get people that are a similar size.
It really was, like, absolutely. I've trained at a few gyms and I've always generally been the biggest in there. So it's always been a struggle. I've done bits and bobs with other big guys, but what Tom's dad's done, putting this heavyweight team together, is like, it's unheard of. I don't think there's anywhere in the world that's got a mat like it.
No.
I was very lucky to get involved. Sort of, I think it was last April I started going up, and it's just grown. We've got like the guys on that mat, mate. I'm starstruck every time I train with them. Do you know what I mean? It's Tom Aspinall's, Phil DeFries, Mick Parkin, Pavel Deldenko. He's fighting for the Brave title next. I could list. There's so many names. I'm not going to start naming names because I'll forget people. But the level of the mat and coaching that we have available to us for heavyweights, that there isn't a team anywhere else in the world like it. And that's not like just trying to be like a bias or big it up. It's just fact. You won't find a heavyweight team anywhere else that's got that level and I'm really, really like proud and we're honoured to be a small part of it.
Yeah, that's what you said. You said obviously going in there it can be starstruck, but then when you go in there, it must be a thing when you look at the mat and you think, shit, I need to. You can't go in and when you're talking about some of the names that you mentioned, you can't go in there and be like, oh, do you know what? I can't be bothered today because
Nah,
they're not going to let you. They're not going to let you at all.
it's heavy, headache central, but we're we're all like it's controlled. Everything we do up there is controlled. We're big guys, you know what I mean? So, but the just the level, mate. It's brought me on so much. Like I can't explain how much it's brought me on. And like I said again, it's just such an honour for me to be around these guys. It's not even just the training; it's just to know them and speak to them and be able to ask questions and call them my friends, mate, as well. It's just a privilege, and I feel very, very lucky to be involved.
Yeah. You said as well. I mean, again, you'll not see. I mean, obviously, what Aspinall's doing is having a heavyweight room like that, where obviously again going in there and it's everybody of a similar size, height wise, weight wise, and stuff like that. So, but you, as you said, you won't see that anywhere else at all.
No,
It's always a struggle. It's always a struggle getting somebody that's what £200 plus that'll come in. Not just one person, but a whole team of people.
I mean, these are elite guys as well, mate. Obviously you got Tom there and Phil, the guys that are signed to the bigger shows, but there's guys that like people haven't even seen much of yet that are going to make some real noise, mate. Like we've got so much talent coming through. Like there's even like the likes of guys that aren't fighting on these big shows. Yeah, they would compete with the best guys in the world, mate. Like because everyone's bringing everyone else's level up and we train really well together. There's no sort of egos in there. There's no like nonsense. Everyone gets on. And Andy wouldn't have it any other way. Do you know what I mean? He needs the right environment for Tom and the right environment for everyone else. And it's just perfect. It's just a perfect training environment.
Yeah, definitely. And as I say, 3-1 is a pro at the moment, and obviously doing absolutely brilliant stuff. I remember messaging you. I dropped you a wee message before your last fight at Almighty. So, and do you know what I mean? Everything seems to be clicking at the moment for you as well.
It has at last. I've been trying for a while. So yeah, first off, I appreciate that message you sent me before Almighty. It's always nice to hear of people sending nice stuff because there's a lot of negativity that goes around as well. So it's nice when you get nice comments and stuff. But I, like we said off air, I struggled as an amateur. I was late in the game and I didn't start. I think I first walked into an MMA gym at 26. Didn't fight till I was 28. I was taking fights just to learn how to fight. Like it was, I was learning how to fight in the gym, but I needed to learn how to fight in real sort of scenarios. So I was fighting some really, really good guys that were well more experienced and better than me. And I took losses and I won a couple and then I took losses. And then it was hard to get fights as well as a heavyweight amateur. So I was getting a bit sick of having, I think, if I remember right, I think I had something like 18 pullouts in 9 fights or 19 pullouts in 9 fights. And the majority were on fight week. I think I only fought the guy I was meant to fight twice as an amateur. So it was a nightmare and I got sick of it. So made the decision to go pro. A lot of people would have maybe thought I'm daft doing that because I had a negative record as an amateur. But I made the jump. I won my pro debut during lockdown. And then, like I said, I took an opportunity in South Africa to fight for the FC, which come out of nowhere. They wanted a heavyweight to come over. Fighting a guy that was miles ahead of me in experience level. He was, I think, if I remember rightly, he was something like 8-5 or 8-4. And I was on my second pro fight. And he was told if he beats me, he gets a world title shot. So it was an experience. I lost the fight, questioned myself like intensely whether I should continue in the sport, was going to walk away completely. And then the door opened for bare knuckle. I decided to do that for a little bit, to toughen me up, to to sort of try and sort my mindset out. I suffered immensely with like sort of fight nerves. I know everyone gets nervous fighting and stuff, but there was something more with me. So I hired a mindset coach called Rob Holdsworth, Therapy with Rob, and he just sort of changed my whole outlook on fighting and what it was and what it meant. And slowly we did weekly Zoom calls for a long time. It's over a period of 12 months, and it got me right. It got me confident. It got me right. I had a good run with the BKFC, enjoyed it, but then started missing MMA. I fought at Wembley with the BKFC. I fought some big venues in Leeds and Newcastle, I think. Yeah, Newcastle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was enjoying it. Still enjoy the bare knuckle. I still keep an eye on it. Never say never. I said to the missus, I'm not going to do it again because she's not keen on it.
Yeah.
But I missed MMA. I was training with the MMA guys, the Aspinall guys, and I just thought I need to have a little run with this again. And then I've won my last 2 fights in the first round, so I'm sort of, I've found my feet, I think, and I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, it takes that. I mean, especially you talked about, which is very, very important in this game, is the mindset, having the mindset right. Because, and a lot of people do it. I mean, majority of people, 99% of people have nerves going into a fight. And someone who's 6'4", 265 pounds, you would think they wouldn't be nervous. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't be nervous at all because, do you know what I mean, you're probably one of the biggest guys in the room. Do you know what I mean? So people outside would look and say, well, how is that guy's the biggest guy I've ever seen? How is he getting nervous before a fight?
It's crazy, and there was a little bit more to it with me. Obviously, I took the mindset coach on, but I've sort of started the process for ADHD testing, and because I think the doctors basically said to me he was 99% sure I've got ADHD, and maybe some sort of aspect of autism as well. So that plays a part in it because you overthink things and you analyze things too much. So a lot of the time, like when I look back, there was a lot of times I was already beat before I got in the cage as an amateur, because I was just terrified, and it weren't like terrified of getting hit or hurt or anything like that. It's sort of like the occasion, like the whole thing like scares me. And even on Almighty, because that's the first time I fought over the road. I live over the road, and it was terrible. I thought it's going to be so much better for me at home, but it weren't. It was like I'm around my family, I'm around people I know, and I've got to give a special mention to Joffrey Hulton because he cornered me for the fight. He trains up with the Aspinall guys with me. I've known Joffrey for a while. He beat me as an amateur, and that's how we that's how we become friends. He subbed me in the first round. But we're very close mates now, and he cornered me for the fight at Almighty, and he just got me so right backstage. He understands the way my head works better than I do as a fighter, and he just leveled me out perfectly. And I've never been like as focused and as ready to fight as I was on that show the other week. And that's like, just thank you to him. Like he's one of my best mates, and I'm privileged to have him do the corners for me and like train with me along with all the other lads as well. But getting my mindset right for that fight, it was just spot on, and I went out and dismantled a guy that it should have been a hard fight for me. Sam's a very, very good fighter. He's been probably fighting longer than I've trained. He's with Ollie Thompson and John Hathaway down south. He's part of a very, very, very good group of people. And I was expecting it to be, well, Joffrey as well said this will be a 3-round war. It's not going to be an easy night for you, this. And because his striking's very crisp, and he caught me with some good shots. But it just shows like how far I've come my level. If I can put a guy like Sam away that quick, it just shows like I've progressed, and I'm so happy with that. So I was really that win was probably the most important win I've had. taking away obviously the events like with BKFC at Wembley and stuff, that last win meant more to me than most of them, because it sort of confirmed with me that I am good, that I can do this and I can take it somewhere. If I didn't win that fight, I would have questioned myself again, I think. But to get him out of there in under a minute, I was over the moon, mate.
Yeah. Listen, you definitely looked great. You definitely looked absolutely brilliant. So, as I
Thank
said,
you.
I've kind of followed you for a little bit and seen some of the
Thank
stuff
you.
through the bare knuckle stuff. Kind of watching that, and do you know what I mean? Every now and again, I'll drop you a comment and say, "Fucking yes, man! I absolutely love this shit." So you're definitely one of the guys. One of the guys I love to see out
Thank
there
you.
doing good stuff. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I wish you nothing but success. So. And success is coming, man. Success, as I say, you're going to get more and more successful as time goes on, definitely.
Appreciate
So,
that.
nerves is a funny thing. Obviously, you mentioned nerves. I mean, nerves affects everybody, so it is important. Anybody that is getting affected with nerves, I mean, definitely hit up someone that does do kind of
Yeah.
mindfulness help, or that helps with your mind, not just kind of mainly to focus you and think, well, do you know me? If I'm thinking this, I can easily get this sorted. Now, one of the biggest guys I remember was GSP. If you remember what GSP used to
Yeah.
say, he was
Yeah.
like, he was so nervous before every fight. He wanted to leave the building and all that. And his team had to keep him in the building. And he was the fucking king of the world. Do you know what I mean? And
Best
still
ever,
got
yeah.
nervous. Yeah. So
It affects everyone. Everyone gets scared. Everyone gets nervous. At the end of the day, you're going in there to fight someone,
yeah,
whether it's a man or a woman. You're going in there to fight someone. It's like it's gladiator stuff. Do you know what I mean? You're basically locked in a cage or in a ring for people's entertainment to hurt each other. It's primeval. It's basically the people love violence, and you're there to give them that.
yeah,
So if you don't feel nerves and if you don't have that sort of adrenaline rush and that sort of fear, I think that's when you shouldn't be doing it,
yeah,
because the nervous energy, what I've learned, it's supposed to be there. You
yeah,
use that as a motivation, and it's like, right, it's there. I'm ready. That
yeah,
means I'm ready. And that's the way I sort of treat it now and approach it with on a mindset point of view. Is I'm expecting that to happen to me.
yeah,
It's got to come. I've got to get that. If I don't get that, it's not right.
yeah,
And I lost a little bit of that with the bare knuckle. The last fight or two, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't like, which is a crazy thing for a bare knuckle fight. But
yeah,
I don't know. I was a lot more calm, and that meant to me that I didn't really care for it as much anymore.
yeah,
So that confirmed. The plan was to come back to MMA anyway, but
yeah.
that sort of confirmed it for me.
Yeah. Trained with one of my good friends, Gaz Topple, as well. So
Oh, do you know Gaz? Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
remember going down to he was at RGA Chester.
Oh, yes, a while
So
ago. Yeah.
yeah, a number of years ago, and obviously got some training with him. And Gaz is when you look at Gaz, you wouldn't think he's as good as he is, right? When you look at him, because he's very unassuming to look at.
Yeah.
But then you go on the map with him, and as I said, he's a very, very different person. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, it was jujitsu. I went down there, did some jujitsu, like me and my son, and Gaz was awesome. Do you know what I mean? I think it was
He's a top bloke, mate. He's a
yeah,
fantastic fella, and he's obviously started the gym at Primal now. I think it's a couple of years old,
yeah,
and he's running that. He's got Bobby Pallett there with him, doing sort of the striking there for him, and Ben Stokes, who's another talented fighter and grappler. He does a lot of the wrestling stuff for the lads there, and obviously Gaz doing the grappling. He's a top lad, mate. They've got some good young
yeah,
fighters in that gym, and
yeah,
I like going up there and helping out and being in that environment as well, and
yeah.
being part of it. They're doing well, mate. Obviously, he's got his shows with Ben as well. They've got
Grapple
Grapple
Wars, yeah,
Wars and Octagon Wars, which that's my next fight's going to be on his show at the end
yeah,
of November. Sorry.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Gaz is a great guy. I've known Gaz for years as well,
yeah,
and he's really knowledgeable. Like he's obsessed with jiu-jitsu. He's obsessed with mixed martial arts. He watches videos on it every night and studies it. And you'd look at him like you said and think he's just a normal bloke.
yeah.
And he's not a normal bloke. He's a
Well,
lunatic. But
the last time. Well, the last time I saw him, we were at Grapple Fest, and he was fucking hammered,
I've heard.
absolutely steaming, man. Do you know what I mean? And he can't. Obviously, we were chatting. I love guys. Do you know what I mean? So we were chatting away, and he was like, "Oh, talking about, oh, hi, he's going to do the show." And that. This was before Grapple was stepped
Oh,
up.
was
So,
there?
but he was talking about doing that, but he was pissed, man. And I'm
He
like,
loves a beer.
yeah. And
I think he's in Morocco right now, so he's probably having a pint now.
yeah, well, he's probably lying somewhere at the moment. So, but awesome guy, and as you said, very, very
Yeah,
knowledgeable. He knows his stuff, and he's passionate. He's as passionate as
he
you and
is.
me and a lot of other people about what it is we do. So,
He's he's
which
he's a proper top bloke as well. I've known
yeah,
Gaz for a long time, and I trained with him originally when he was at Roger Gracie, and then he moved, and it was called, I think, St. Asaph BJJ at first when he first ventured out.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but I moved away from that, and I started training somewhere else. But I've come back now, and I'm doing bits with Gaz a couple of times a week again, and I like to
yeah,
help out with the young lads there as well.
yeah, yeah,
He's got a lot of like young grapplers coming through and kickboxers there as well.
yeah,
There's a couple of lads now venturing into the MMA with him, so
yeah,
I'm sure they'll do very well in the future. They're a very young team, um, so it's good to see new guys coming through as well and helping out.
yeah, yeah.
And
I think it does.
they're doing a very good job, all of them. Like the coaches there, Gaz, Bobby, and Ben, they're doing
Yeah.
brilliant.
I think it down. I mean, I know I was ready to come to. I think it was Grapple Folk Wars. We did the first one, and he keeps messaging me every now and again saying, "When are we getting you on for a match? Come down, get a
You
match."
should,
So, but
yeah,
yeah,
you should.
I mean, I absolutely love it. As I said, anytime I see guys is always awesome. But obviously, his shows are doing brilliant. His shows are doing amazing.
Yeah,
So, um,
and Bobby that he's got there as well. Bobby's one of the best lightweights / welterweights in the UK.
yeah,
I think he's the FCC interim champion. He's fought on Aries. I think Bobby's fought. Like we were looking at it the other week and talking, and I don't think there's a fighter outside of the UFC who's fought the level of fighter that Bobby's fought in his last 4 fights.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's fighting like the best guys in Europe,
yeah,
and he'll go on to do big things as well, Bobby.
yeah.
I'm not sure where he's fighting next. I'm not. I don't think he's with Aries now, but he'll definitely get on one of these big shows, whether it's the UFC or PFL or Octagon. He's going somewhere. He's definitely good enough.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on Bobby. Definitely keep an eye on him. So, obviously, what's next for you then? So, obviously, you mentioned obviously you got obviously Gaz's show potentially October, November time. But
Yeah,
I mean, where do you see yourself going? Because obviously, I mean, you've had a great career so far. Obviously, as you mentioned, amateurs, but amateurs is always about finding your feet to
yeah.
get you to pro. So, and then once you become pro, as they obviously did the bare knuckle stuff, obviously MMA. So, where would you like to see yourself in a couple of years, Rob?
So I've had to think about it. When I first got involved with the BKFC, I thought this might be where I stay, because I was enjoying it.
Yeah,
But there was always that little bit of, well, not little bit, most of me that was missing MMA. I was always an MMA fighter doing bare knuckle. I was
yeah,
never a bare knuckle fighter. Because I'd never boxed younger, I'd never anything like that. So now I've come back to the MMA. I've had a conversation with my missus about it because as much as it's my decision, what she wants from it is very important to me as well
yeah,
because she's had to put up with me being away all the time and training and taking fights and being like distraught over losses or like suffering mentally over it. She's like
yeah,
very, very important to me in this, and I share every conversation with her. When it's down to it, it's up to myself what path I take, but I include her with the decision making as much as I can.
no,
Um,
definitely, yeah,
and what I'm thinking, what I'm looking at is realistically, because I'm 34, I don't know if the UFC would be a realistic game for me.
yeah,
I train obviously with the best UFC heavyweight in the world. Well, the best. He's the best heavyweight in the world,
yeah.
and I see what level he's at. I'm never going to be Tom Aspinall. It's fact. It's, you know what I mean. It's not. I'm
Tom's
not
been
trying to.
training though. Tom's been training since
Yeah,
he was fucking a kid, man. Do you know what I mean? I
unreal,
remember
mate. Yeah,
him coming through the ranks of jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. So he's been training a long. He's been training longer than most
Yeah,
fighters on the UFC roster. Do you know what I mean?
he has.
So
He's been doing it with his dad since he was walking. Do you know what I mean? He's
yeah,
different level. But I gauge that, and obviously we've got Mick Parker in there as well. So the decision I've sort of come to is I want to fight for the PFL.
yeah,
I've had conversations with my manager. My manager is a guy called Sidney Deans at Mogul Management.
yeah,
Really, really top guy. He's based down in Brighton. He's put people onto the biggest platforms in the world with the UFC, PFL, Octagon. He works closely with as well,
yeah,
and we think that's a very realistic game for me.
yeah,
I think I could do really well with the PFL. They do tournaments, obviously with Europe and the global. They have Bellator now as well, and I
yeah,
think for where I'm at and where I can go to, I could make a really good career with them, and financially as well. Obviously, they do the European tournaments 100k, the global tournaments a million. That's
yeah.
sort of money that
It's life-changing money in a lot of
it
cases.
is. Yeah, it is, and I just think realistically that's perfect goal for me. I've been in Dan Hardy's ear a couple of times as well. I tag him and stuff and that, but I've had conversations with him, and he's actually said that when he compiles the roster for 2025, he's going to keep me in mind. So
Yeah,
I think immediate plan, I've got to beat this guy that I'm fighting in November.
yeah,
That puts
yeah,
me at 4-1, and then I'm well within a position to sign with the PFL. That's what my goal is.
yeah,
First step of my goal anyway,
yeah,
and I think it's a realistic one as well. I'm not kidding myself. I'm never going to be. I'm never going to be the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. I'm not. It's just I'm
Not while
happy.
Tom's got the belt. Not while Tom's got the belt.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy to say that I'm not going to be in the UFC.
Yeah,
Like you've got to be realistic. You can't. It's good to have goals and dreams, but you've got to be realistic with them. Otherwise, you'll be disheartened if you don't reach them.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think the PFL is a really good option for me, and I think I can do really well with that. And I love the PFL. I watch it all the time.
PFL's awesome.
It's
Yeah,
I love the format of the tournaments. The level of fighter in there is brilliant. The fights in
yeah,
there are class. Obviously, you got Ngannou in there now as well, and I'm a big fan of it. I watch it as much as I watch the UFC.
yeah,
So I'm like a PFL super fan as well as a UFC super fan.
yeah,
So yeah, that's where I want to go with it.
yeah,
I'm working at the moment as well. I only have to work a couple of days a week, which is
yeah.
nice because I work in care with kids with complex needs, so which is complete opposite to fighting, but I enjoy that as well. So yeah, that's where I'm sort of up to. End of 2024, fight November, win that, then hopefully I'll be able to move on to the PFL Bellator next year.
Would you fancy that one day, you and Ngannou standing across from each other?
Mate, you know me, I'll fight anyone. Especially with the money that I put in my bank balance.
Yes, definitely. Well, that's the thing. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, anybody that's in MMA, it's never a get rich quick scheme. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people get into MMA thinking this is going to be fame and fortune, and you're like, yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely not, man. I mean, fucking, we've all been in 8-hour drives to competitions or fights and all that kind of stuff. Not
It costs you
eating,
money.
weight cutting. Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
costs you a lot of money to go through the ranks, even as a pro. I mean, even as
yeah.
a pro, it's still expensive.
Oh yeah, like like I'm not making any money out of it at the moment. Like my manager is happy with that at the start. Like again, it's bigger goals when we get PFLs
Yeah,
when you start getting paid and stuff.
yeah,
But I'm happy with it. I'm content with that. I'm not in it for the money on the short term. It's long term like financial goals I've got with this. So,
yeah.
but yeah, you don't make any money quick. It's
Everybody sees that Conor McGregor money, right? That's what everybody sees. Conor McGregor out there buying fucking £10 million Lamborghini yachts and
yeah,
kicking about with £6 million watches on and all that. Conor
that's
McGregor,
rare.
yeah, that's very, very rare. Conor McGregor just happened to be the right person at the right time
Yeah,
to change everything about the game financially for fighters. Do you know what I mean?
he,
So,
he had the right sort of run. He did
yeah,
very well when he was on that run coming up through the rankings.
yeah,
The right personality, everything was like aligned for him, and
yeah,
he's done unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
and I think to be fair, the majority of his money came from boxing Floyd Mayweather and his businesses.
Yeah,
but he
yeah,
wouldn't have got that without having his run in the UFC. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
there is money to be made in mixed martial arts or combat sports, but you've got to really work hard to get there to get
yeah.
the financial gains. And anyone can do it. Like I always say to people, if I can do it, anyone can. I'm from a little island in Scotland, mate.
Mhm.
Out of Hebrides, there's nothing there. I was born. There's 300 people there, a fishing village. It's like if anyone, and then I've come down. I live in North Wales now, and it's if anyone can sort of go on like a journey and go into MMA, if I can do it, then anyone can.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody you want to shout out to, Rob? I mean, obviously you mentioned a lot of people there. I mean, it'd be a big list if you were to start individually naming people, but
Yeah,
anybody in particular you want to shout out? Friends, family members, teammates, sponsors, anything that you may have.
I'll just keep it generic because there'll be too many names if I do it individually and I'll forget.
Yeah,
So obviously I want to thank everyone up at the Aspinall team. I love them guys to bits. We've got the best, like I said, team on the planet for heavyweights and training, and they've just helped me so much. Not even like just as a fighter, but as a person. Same with the guys at Primal. I love being involved with them and Gaz, Bobby, and Ben, and all the guys up there. And Deeside Fight Club, Ryan Thomas, my boxing coach, who I do a lot with, and he's just sharpened my hands and
yeah,
brought power out of my hands that I didn't know was there. He's just been brilliant. But I always say this as well. Like every gym or every coach or every teammate I've trained under, they've all done something for me, and I've
yeah,
never got like a bad word to say about them. So I've never fell out with anyone I've trained with. I've never like had bad blood. I'm thankful to all of them because they've all played a part in me getting to where I am.
yeah,
And then obviously the stuff like Mrs. like we were talking about before, she does a lot for me. Like just being that stability and rock you that you need in your life when you're doing this kind of sport.
yeah,
And I'd have gone off the rails without her. Like it was it's a story for another day. But yeah, I was up and down obviously with this ADHD thing, and I
yeah,
used to like drink a lot, and just like a normal sort of kid and that, and she
yeah,
sorted me right out.
yeah.
Friends, family, um, sponsors. I've got a couple, mate. I'll forget. Thank you to all my sponsors. I don't want to forget people. That's my problem.
Listen, the sponsors
Uh,
as well. I mean, you regularly post anyway, so whenever you
yeah,
post
yeah,
up sponsors, always get mentioned. They all know who they are, sponsors. So
yeah.
the one thing about sponsors as well, I mean, I say this on every show that I do. Sponsors, it's so important for sponsors to come in
It
for
really is.
fighters, from not just the amateurs, even into pros and stuff like that as well. Because what sponsors do is allow you to pay for things like potentially gym memberships, nutrition, fight gear, traveling
Medicals.
costs, medicals, all that kind of stuff. So when sponsors come in, do you know what I mean, they take away some of that pressure. Do you know what I mean?
They
So
do.
which is absolutely brilliant. And the more people that get involved in coming through with obviously all of these fighters is awesome because what you're doing is these fighters will go with you as a sponsor for the full journey. Do you know what I mean? So your name's going to be out there in front of as many people as possible. It's cheaper advertising than taking out a fucking TV advert or a
It is.
newspaper advert and stuff like that. So,
It's
you know,
free. Well, it's not free advertising, obviously, because they sponsor it. But
yeah,
yeah, sponsors for fighters are a godsend because like fight camps cost so much money, and as a pro, like I wouldn't say, well, no, as an amateur you don't get paid here, but as a pro then you got to pay medicals, and these fight medicals you're talking 600-700 quid,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's just money that is hard to like spare when you're trying to train for a fight as well, and you got to pay for your travel, your food, your supplements. Everything adds up. It costs a lot of money to be a fighter. It's not like this dream Conor McGregor, £10 million
not
stuff
yet,
you
not
say.
yet.
No, but it's
But
it's it's a hard time, and sponsors do help loads. And any
yeah,
sponsors that come on board with me, I'm always very grateful. I've got some really good guys that I work with at the moment, who I'm thankful for. But
yeah.
yeah, you're absolutely right, Stoomboy. Like sponsors for fighters are just amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So definitely hit up these guys for sponsorship. Obviously with Rob, I mean, you can get him at the usual place. Obviously on Instagram, Rob Cunny. That's ROBCUNNI.
Thank you.
You'll be able to go all over, see a lot of some amazing pictures on there, some obviously reels and all that kind of stuff. So you'll be able to see exactly what Rob is all about. Also Facebook as well. Obviously go over to Rob Cunningham on Facebook. A lot of these fighters as well are very approachable. So if you drop Rob a message at some point, be respectful. Don't be a dick, because we do get some dick messages sometimes, but
Yeah.
be respectful. And listen, Rob's always there to give his kind of help and advice to anybody that's out there. So very, very approachable person. So
Yeah, I'll always if someone messages me, I'll always message them back. Unless there's a troll, they just get deleted or blocked. I've had trolls before, so
yeah,
they're just pathetic people that haven't got anything better to do. But yeah, if anyone that messages me, even if they're after advice on anything, whether it's like mental health, I'm a big advocate for. I'll chat to anyone if they get stuck with mental health and they just need, even if it's a stranger to talk to. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to speak to their friends or family or. Like I will always have a chat with anyone. I've been through it myself intensely, so I'm all ears. Even if they don't want me to talk to them about it, if they just want to rant. Do you know what I mean? But if anyone like ever needs like just to ask questions about fighting or what to do to get to, I'll speak to anyone. I've got time for anyone, as you know, Stoomboy. I'll always be obliged to write back.
Definitely. So guys, here we go then. Rob Cunningham, Aspinall BJJ, Primal MMA Academy, Deeside Fight Club. Talking a little bit about, obviously, it's good to hear an insight into a fighter's mind, what they're doing, what they're all about. So it's always great to hear about them. A lot of the times people don't hear from the fighters; they only see what they do in the cage or in a ring. And I'd say they're completely different people outside of that atmosphere. So not every fighter's an animal outside the cage as well. So, and Rob, I say Rob's an awesome guy. I said I've been following Rob for a while. So, as I wish you all the success in the world, Rob. PFL, man, it's a dream at the moment. It's a goal at the moment, but do you know what I mean? I'm 100% sure you're going to get there. So,
I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
PFL needs big guys like you, man. They need big guys like you.
They need some heavyweights that, like, I think offer something different. I've got like this horrible forward pressure that I just don't stop coming at people, and I think that's what they want to see. They want to see guys that are going for knockouts and stoppages, and I haven't shown much grappling yet in my pro career, and my grappling's getting decent as well. So, I think I've won sub victory. So. That's another thing. All my pro careers, the first round stoppages each win. So they're going to want someone that wants to come and just win fights and stop people and knockouts and highlight reels. And so I'm hoping I can offer something like that. But we'll see where we go after this fight in November, and hopefully that'll be the next step for me.
One final question, Rob.
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall, John Jones, is it going to happen? What do you reckon?
Should happen.
It should. I think John.
I don't think John Jones wants to fight Tom.
Nah.
I think that's the sort of general consensus anyway. I think John Jones sees Tom as the biggest threat he's ever faced. Because there's never been a guy that moves as fast and as powerful as Tom, and I don't think Jones would cope with it. John Jones, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to disrespect this guy. He's the best. Best in the world, best to ever do it, whatever you want to say. But I believe, and I think there's plenty of people out there, especially us up at that team, Tom's going to be the best heavyweight that the UFC's ever seen. And I think he's well on his way. Like he's stopping these guys so fast, and these guys are like killers. Pavlovich, Volkov, Blades. They're giving other heavyweights problems, and Tom's just making it look easy. So, I think John Jones will probably fight Miocic and retire.
That's my.
I hope not, because I hope for Tom he can get that fight. Tom's the world champion. John Jones isn't the champion. Tom's the world champion, because Tom's Tom's defended that interim belt, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
John Jones has had, was it one fight in 3 years or something like that?
Yeah. So he's not fought a lot at all in the last 10
And,
plus
and
years.
Steve,
So
and Stipe's the same. Like
yeah,
I understand why they want Jones and Stipe to fight,
yeah,
but it doesn't
yeah,
need to be for a world title. Like
yeah,
give Tom the world title, and let him have that world. He's the rightful champion. So,
yeah.
but I'm not in charge of the UFC, so what does my opinion matter?
Listen, I'm in agreement with you. I don't think John Jones wants it. I don't think he's obviously been watching Tom, right? Because
Oh, a
for him,
lot as well. A
yeah,
lot. Yeah.
for him to dismiss him. I mean, he's dismissed him a few times, right?
Yeah.
But John Jones is 100% been watching Tom, and he's obviously seen what he's been doing. Do you know what I mean? And been like, do, do I want that? No chance. Maybe John Jones 10 years ago, maybe, right? But
Yeah.
what is he? 37 now, 38-year-old.
30,
So
37. Stipe's 42. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like, I think Tom's 32. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, yeah,
and I think I seen something where John Jones put something up like, "Don't be surprised if your boy loses," about Curtis Blades, and then Tom just dismantled him. And it's like,
yeah,
Curtis Blades is an elite level wrestler, an
yeah,
elite level fighter, and
yeah,
no one's done that to him before.
yeah,
Pavlovich, no one wanted to fight Pavlovich. No one. Tom took on 2 weeks' notice with a bad back
yeah,
and smashed him.
yeah,
It's crazy. Like,
yeah,
and like the maddest thing, like people watching him on telly and stuff haven't seen anything, because with what he does in the gym, mate, like he hasn't shown 10% of it in that cage yet.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
it's scary how good he is. He's
yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah. Nah, we love Tom. We love Tom. So
And
guys,
what
there
a
we
nice
go then.
and what a nice guy as well, mate. Like
He is. He is
I'll
the
say
awesome
that.
guy, and he's
Yeah,
very approachable as well. I mean, we talk
yeah.
about fighters being approachable. He sent, I think it was one of my friends. I think it was his son's birthday, and somebody had met Tom in a pub down in wherever it was, down south somewhere, and Tom actually did a video. So that he could send the kid to say happy birthday, because
Ah,
Tom
mate,
Aspinall
that's
was
nice. Yeah,
was
yeah,
their best fighter. So and things like that. That's small things. That's small things to maybe Tom, right? But
but
it's
big.
massive things
Yeah,
to other
to kids
people.
like that.
So
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, and his
yeah,
dad as well, mate. I don't know if you've met Andy Aspinall, but
yeah,
he's one of the best sort of people I've ever spoken to or been
yeah,
around. He's just such a top man, and like listening to him when he's coaching and speaking and stuff, I'm in awe of him. Like I just watch him doing the techniques, and
yeah,
like I try and ask him questions when I can, and it's just amazing to be around someone with his knowledge, and
yeah,
the time and effort he's put into Tom, and to see them rise to the top together and do it. It's inspiring, mate. Like it
yeah,
really is. To see a father and son do what they're doing, and Joe as well as his younger brother, like another. They're all like cut from the same cloth. Like
yeah,
Joe's knowledge, he's a high level black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he coaches the lads at Aspinall BJJ. I think he's starting some MMA classes there as well, and he's just a top lad. And
yeah,
the whole family just seem like great people. And
yeah,
again, without repeating myself too much, and all the lads up there as well. And we've got Savannah Marshall up there as well, ex-boxing world champion,
yeah,
now with the
yeah,
PFL.
yeah,
Um, it's just it's elite, mate. That's the best way to describe it. It's
yeah,
elite fighters, elite coaches, and like elite people and human beings. Like they're
yeah.
just the best people I've ever been around, and I'm just honoured to be involved, mate.
Yes. Oh, listen, Rob, absolutely appreciate your time today. It was brilliant hearing. It's brilliant hearing. I get to see it on a daily basis. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's obviously brilliant hearing it coming from your own mouth and hearing some of the
Oh,
things you're going through. So, and some of the things you're going to do. I'd say that for me, obviously, I wish you 100% success. Do you know what I mean?
thank you, mate.
I know that you're focused to be and go places. Do you know what I mean? And you've got the right people around you in different camps, different places. But listen,
I
all
don't
the
stop.
best.
I literally don't stop thinking about it. I must drive people mad, because like it's not like everything's about fighting for me. Like it's just
Yeah,
that, you know it, don't you? You're the same with your combat sports and stuff. Like I'm just so driven to succeed with it. And when I've got it's like a hyper fixation on it
Yeah,
that there's only one way for me to go, and that's just do well. Like,
yeah,
doesn't matter how many times I get knocked down and I have to restart. I'll keep going until I get where I need to go, and
yeah,
that's how it'll go. I think.
yeah. Listen, I know you're going to go. I know you're going to go all the way. So,
Appreciate
but
that,
yeah,
brother.
give my love to Gaz Topple when he's in detox when he comes back from Morocco.
I will. I'll
So-
I'll get him to jump on here with you and have a chat.
yeah. Well, I think he was going to do that at one point. That's what we were
How was
talking
he?
about at Grapple Fest when he was steaming drunk. But then I'm like,
I probably can't remember.
Gaz won't remember this in the morning. Do you know what I mean? Because I remember saying that to him, Gaz, you won't remember this. No, 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 Stoomboy, I remember everything. And yeah, that
Oh,
was
it
it.
makes you
So,
laugh. Yeah.
but
I'll, I'll,
listen,
I'll, rem- I'll remind him for you next week when I see him.
yes, yes. Well, he'll be watching this. I know he's been commenting on it and posting
Oh,
on
is
it.
he? Right. Okay.
So he'll be watching some of this anyway. So hopefully it's. But listen, Rob, all the best, brother.
No, thank you very much for having me on as well. I really appreciate your time and letting me come on your platform to have a chat. It means the world to me doing stuff like this. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Listen, we'll catch up again, man. That next fight, obviously, I'll be keeping an eye out. Drop you a wee message again. But yeah, listen, absolute pleasure chatting with you, and you enjoy the rest of your day, Rob. All right.
You too, brother. Have a nice weekend,
Take
mate.
care. Bye bye.